Good day to you all students. My name is Rosalia. My contact details are on the screen and I'm taking you through quantitative method 1, degree level, year 1. We are looking at quadratic equations, and the form of a quadratic equation is shown as seen on the screen, and I am sure you familiar with that. Let's quickly look at the three methods of solving at the degree level. We use factorization method, we use the quadratic formula, and use the method of completing the square. Because of time, I will not take you through factorization method and how to use the quadratic formula, but jump to completing the square method. But as I scroll down, you can see I have explained how to use factorization method and also how to use the quadratic formula. You can pause when you are watching at home and read through and see if you can understand. If you do not understand, seek for help, and you can also call me for help. But if you look at the other presentations that I have done in the following subjects, I have touched on how to use the quadratic formula and also how to factorize. On the website, you can just look for those codes, the course codes that I teach or that I have presented, and then you can see if there's any topics that I have covered that are applicable to you or that are part of your syllabus, and then you can just listen and understand. Okay, let's look at the example on the screen. We want to solve this by using the completing the square method. If you can't see it very well, it's x to the power of 2 plus 8x plus 7, which is equals to 0. This is quadratic because the highest power is 2, and then this is the variable or the coefficient in front of x to the power 2 there, which is a 1 that we don't write there, is known as a. Now a in this case is equals to 1, and our b is equals to what? Is equals to 8, and then c, which is a constant, is equals to 7. Okay, now the first thing or the first step in completing the square method is to move the constant on the other side of the equation so that you remain with x to the power of 2 plus 8x, which is equals to minus 7. When you take positive 7 on the other side, it becomes a minus. Okay, and then the next thing is to add b over 2a squared on both sides. Since our b is 8, then we are going to have 8, and then 2 multiplied by a is 1, so it's 2 multiplied by 1, and then we are going to square this, isn't it? That is what we are referring to, and then you are going to add that on both sides. Okay, and then you see that if you square 8 and then you divide it by 2 to the power of 2, then you will get your answer to be equals to what? Is equals to 16. All right, now you are going to add the result of 16 on both sides. If you add 16 on both sides, then you are going to have what you are seeing on the screen, 8 to the power of 2 under step 3 plus 8x plus 16, which is equals to minus 7 plus 16. Whatever you do on the left hand side, you also have to do it on the right hand side. Now if we simplify the right hand side, then 16 minus 7 will give us what? Will give us 9. Okay, now in step 4, you see you have x to the power of 2 plus 8x plus 16, which is equals to 9. Now on the left hand side, that is a quadratic equation that you can factorize. Okay, If you factorize that, you will see that you will end up with x to the power of 8 plus 4 to the power of 2, and that is equals to 9. Now, how did we get this x plus 4 to the power of 2? This is what I explained in the other videos that I did earlier. You look for the factors of 16, and one factor that we got from there is 6, not 6 but 4 multiplied by 4. If you multiply 4 by 4, it will give you 6, but if you add 4 and 4, it will also give you 8, and that is what we want to do. To find the factors of 16, there's two factors, when you add them or subtract them, it will give you b. Okay, then you replace it in the equation. 4x plus 4x will give you what? Will give you 8x. Now, instead of writing 8x, we are going to put it in two parts in the equation. We are going to have 8x plus 4x plus 4x plus what? Plus 16, and that will give you what? It will give you 9. Okay, but now since you want to factorize this, you can see that something is common there and also something is common there. Then you can factor out what is common. You take out x in there, you are going to have 4x plus 4, and you factor out what is common in there, it will be 4. What is remaining is x plus 4. Then you will see that this and this are the same. Take it out, you have x plus 4, and then this, you take out that, we have put it here, which is the same as that. Okay, but what is remaining is this x here, and that 4 there is also x plus 4. Okay, then now x plus 4 is the same as x plus 4 to the power of what? To the power of 2, and that is what we have there, which we are saying is equals to 9. Okay, then we go to step 5. Now we want to get rid of this power 2 so that we solve for x. Now we have x plus 4 to the power of 2, which is equals to 9. We want to get rid of this power here, so we introduce the square root so that it will cancel out. So this 2 and the square root cancels out. Since we brought a square root on that side, we should also put it on the other side. Then we have 8 plus 4 is equals to what? Is equals to 3. The square root of 9 is 3, but it's either positive or negative. Okay? Okay, now we want to solve for x, we have to take 4 on the other side. Now it will be x, the first x will be equals to minus 3 minus 4. When 4 goes on the other side, it becomes negative, and this will give us minus 7. Now when we use the positive, first we use the negative side. Now when we use the positive, it will give us the second x, or the second root. Then it will be 3 minus 3 minus what? 3 minus 4. 3 minus 4, this will give us minus 1. So the two roots of that equation is equals to minus 7 and minus 1. Okay? Make sure you go through this and you understand. Now if you look at example 2, the value of a, or the coefficient in front of x to the power of 2, is no longer 1 but 4. So first of all, get rid of that 4 to be out of not to be in front of the x square. So you divide 4 through. So if you divide 4 by 4, you get 1. 12 by 4, you get 3. 4 by 4, 4 divided by 4, you get 1. And then 12 divided by 3, not by 3 but by 4, you get 3. Then you simplify the equation and it comes to that form, x to the power of 2 minus 3 minus 1, which is equals to 3. Then you start again with the same process that we just did in the previous example. Take the constant on the other side, add b over 2a to the power of 2 on both sides. After doing that, factorize, simplify, and get your answer to be equals to what? It will be minus 1 and 4. Simultaneous equations. Two equations with two unknown variables that are solved simultaneously or at the same time. We use elimination method and we use substitution method. In one of my presentations earlier, I've shown how to use elimination method and how to use substitution method. Make sure you go to the slide where I showed you the codes of the subjects that I have presented, and then look for the specific information that you need. Listen to the video, see if you can understand, but make sure you are following. Don't just look at how I'm talking, but you should understand what I'm trying to say there. If you do not understand, seek for help from your brothers, your sisters, or you can call me. Okay? Measure of central location. We want to find one variable, one value that can give you a clear picture of the whole data set. It's either you find the mean, the median, or the mode. Now, how do you find the mean? You add everything together, divide by the total number of items in that data set. And then how do you find the median? You have to arrange the data set and find the value in the middle, and that is your median. Okay, our median in this case is what? Is 56. And then the mode is the number that appears the most. Okay, and then that is for ungrouped data. For grouped data, for you to find the mean, okay? In my previous example as well, I showed the difference between grouped data and ungrouped data. Just find that specific video and listen to it. Now, how do we find the mean, the median, and the mode for a grouped data set? Now, the table that we are given here on the screen, it's not standing straight because of space, but I hope you can see it. We are given classes. We are given 10 to 20, you are given 20 to 30, you are given 30 to 40, and it continues going down. And then you are given the frequency. Okay, you are given the frequency for the first one is 3, 5, 9, and then it continues. Now what you need to do, this is how the table is given to you in the assignment or in the exam. Now the first thing that you are going to do is to add the midpoints that we call xi. Those are the midpoints. How do you find the midpoint? You take the lower bound, you add the upper bound, or lower limit, add the upper limit, and divide them by 2. And then 10 plus 20 is 30, divide by 2, you are going to get 15. That is your first midpoint. For the second one, it will be 20 plus 30, which is 50, divide by 2, it will give you 25, and that is your second midpoint. And you have to work through to the end. Now, why are we doing that? Because our mean for a grouped data is the sum of the frequencies multiplied by the midpoint divided by the sum of the frequency. Now, the frequency is this one. The midpoint is the one that I'm showing you how to calculate. And then at the end of the day, this is what we call, the frequency is what we call the Fi. Okay, now at the end of the day, when you are calculating the mean, we want you to add another column, multiply the frequency with the midpoints. You multiply 3 by 15, you get 45, 5 by 25, you get 125, and you work through to the end. Now, for you to find the mean, you have to sum up everything in this column, and you put the answer there. Sum up everything in that column, and you put the answer there, divide them together, and that will be your mean. Okay, how do we find the median? To find the median, we use the formula median. We use the formula L plus C, you open bracket, the sum of the frequency, divide by 2, minus the cumulative frequency of the class above the median class, divide by everything divided by the frequency. Now this division only ends there. Now whatever each of these terms here means, it's shown on the screen. L is the lower limit of the median class, C is the class width, this is the sum of the frequency, this is the cumulative frequency of the class before the median class, and this is the frequency of the median class. The important thing is how to find the median class. For you to find the median class, you have to divide the sum of frequency by 2. Okay, when you divide this sum of frequency by 2 is to find the position of the median, then you get, let's say for example our sum of frequency is 30, we divide by 2, we get 15. Now what do we do with the 15? This 15 will help us to allocate which one is our median class. You'll go to your cumulative column. I hope you know how to find the cumulative frequency. The frequency you are given is 35976. Now for the cumulative frequency, it means you are going to add what is on top of the other one. For the first cumulative, there is nothing above, so you add 0, it will still remain 3. For the second cumulative, you are going to add 5 with 3. Because you are accumulating, so it will become 8. Then it continues like that. Make sure you understand how to find that. Now back to our 15. How do we use 15 to find the median class? Don't say you are given 5 classes, then the one in the middle is the median class. No. Okay, it can be that, but maybe only the matter of coincidence, but always try to use the formula. We are getting 15 and we are going to use this 15 to get our median class. Now the rule is for you to find the first value greater than or equals to 15 in the cumulative column. Look for the first value greater than or equals to 15 in the cumulative column. You know where 15 came from. Now the first value greater than or equals to 15 is 17. 17 is greater than 15 and is the first one. 25 is greater but is the second one. We want to use the first value greater than or equals to 15. So we get 17. 17 belongs to which class? 17 belongs to the class 30 to less than 40. Now this is our median class. All the information that we need, we are going to get it in that row of that median class. The lower limit is 30. In place of L, you put 30. The class limit, the class width, is the difference between the upper bound and the lower bound. The upper bound is 40, the lower bound is 30. The difference between the two is 10. So in place of C, you put 10. The sum of frequency is shown there is 30. You divide it by 2 minus F with the bracket of the less than sign, or a C, whatever you call it. It's the cumulative frequency of the class before or above the median class. The cumulative frequency of the class before or above the median class is what? Is 8. So you put 8 there. 8 is the one that is above the median class, is the cumulative frequency above the median class. And then F is the frequency of the median class. What is the frequency of the median class? Is 9. So in place of F there, you put 9. Then you start by doing your calculations. Okay, 30 divided by 2 is 15, minus 8, you get 7. 7 multiplied by 10, you get 70. 70 divided by 9, you get 7.78. And then you add it to the 30, and that is your median. We move on to the mode. Some of you are starting to freak out, thinking these formulas are difficult. The formulas are already given to you. You just need to use it. So there's no need to panic, okay? So I also define to you what is L, what is C, what is D1, what is D2. And how do we get the modal class? The class with the highest frequency, that is your modal class. And then you can start substituting. The class with the highest frequency is what? Our highest frequency is 9. So our modal class is 30 to less than 40. So our L will be 30. Our C, the class width, is 10. D1, the frequency of the modal class minus the frequency of the class before or above. The frequency of the class, of the modal class, is 9. The frequency of the class above 9 is 5. And then D2 is the frequency of the modal class minus the frequency of the class below. So the one below is what? 7. So substitute everything in the formula and then you get your answer. Okay. Now we will look at the measure of dispersion. We want to know how spread out the data is. Okay, you look at the quartiles. Okay, these are the formulas on how to calculate the quartile. The first quartile, which is the 25th percentile, is n plus 1 divided by 4. The quartile 2, which is the 50th percentile, is 2n plus 1 divided by 4. And then the third one is 3n plus 1 divided by 4. Now these formulas will help you to find the positions of the quartiles, but not the quartile values. Okay? Now if you look at your assignment, you are asked to calculate the quartile 1, quartile 2, quartile 3 and all that. They also ask you to calculate the IQR. IQR is the interquartile range, which is the difference between the quartile 3 and the quartile 1. And then the quartile deviation is the difference between quartile 3 and quartile 1. You divide it by 2. Go through the example, you see how you calculate. But there's one presentation that I have done where I've talked about them step by step. Because of time, we cannot go through each step by step. Okay, this is how we calculate the variance. The variance of what? Of an ungrouped data set and the standard deviation. Go through, call me where you do not understand. Okay, there's something that I want to show you before I move on. How to calculate the variance and standard deviation of a grouped data set. Now, you know what is a group data set? This is when you are given the data set in a group format. You are told that all the values between 0 and less than 5 were brought together and they were counted. There are 3. Between 5 and less than 10 they are counted and there are 5. So what you need to do for you to find the variance, you use this formula. This is the formula that you use for variance for a grouped data set. This is the frequencies multiplied by the midpoints that are squared. You multiply the frequency with the midpoints that are squared. You sum everything in all the rows, and then you divide it by the sum of the frequency. You minus the mean, which is squared. The mean, the way we calculate the mean, I showed you. I showed you how to find the mean of a grouped data set, but I can quickly write it down here for you. Is the summation of the frequencies multiplied by the midpoint divided by the sum of the frequencies. Okay, now if you are given, for example, in the assignment or in the exam, you will only be given a table up to that point. Okay, so what you need to do is to look at your formulas. For the mid, you will need midpoints. Then you have to add the column of midpoints. Okay, then you will need another column of where you are going to multiply the frequency and the midpoint so that you calculate what? You calculate the mean as shown down here. Okay, then for the standard deviation, you will need to square the midpoints, all these values, raise it to the power of 2, write it there, multiply the results that you are going to get in this column with that column, and you get the last column here. Now add up everything that you are getting here and substitute it in this formula here and divide it by the sum of the frequency minus the mean, and then you get the variance. Now when you get the variance, put the answer that you get in a square root. The result that you are going to get is what we call the variance. It's very simple. You just need to follow the steps. Okay, read on simple and compound interest plus other things that are applicable to you. I mean that all the topics that are on your course outline for you to be ready for the exam and also to do well in your assignment. I wish you all the best. Call me for questions.